Every food plotter wants a great crop. Lush, thick, weed-free food plots. And that all starts by calibrating your drill. Calibrating your no-till drill needs to take place before every planting season. And if you're going to switch it up, plant maybe a food plot in one blend and another blend in another plot, you're going to have to calibrate for every species or blend that you plant. If you plant too heavy, you're going to waste seed. On top of that, the seed comes up, it's going to outcompete other species, and that means you're not going to have a great stand. If you plant too thin, you're not going to have enough food for those critters, and you're going to have a lot of sunlight hitting the ground, and that's going to result in a weedy food plot. Today we're going to be calibrating the PH Outdoors G8. PH Outdoors has several sizes of drills, and I've calibrated a lot of drills throughout the years, and this is by far the easiest drill to calibrate. Calibrating is very simple, and we only need a few items. Of course, we need our seed, a scale, and a small container to help hold the seed that we're going to weigh. You'll also need a calculator, but most of us are using that calculator on our phone. If you're going to be on your phone, might as well hop over to the PH Outdoors website. They have a calibration calculator. They do all the hard math for you. You just need to plug in the weight of your seed, size of your drill, and it'll do the rest. It's very accurate, and that's what we're going to be using today. First thing we need to know is what is going to be our target seeding rate. How many pounds per acre of seed do we plan to plant? That's going to vary depending on the species or the blends. Most of the blends or species that you'll be planting, they're going to say right on the bag what the recommended planting rate is. Now, if you have heavy browse pressure or you're trying to combat a lot of weeds, you may want to bump that up, add on, 10, 20% to that planting rate and start there. Another consideration is what we call the shake factor. As you're pulling the drill through the ground, it's going over rocks and going over holes. There's going to probably be 5, maybe 10% seed shake out. So when you calibrate, let's say we're calibrating for 50 pounds per acre. If we want to consider a 10% shake factor on that, we're actually going to calibrate at 45 pounds per acre. And we know with a little shake, a few more seeds are going to hit the ground, and that's going to get us to that target 50 pounds per acre. Once you know your recommended planting rate, it's time to go to the seed setting chart. That's going to show the settings for the gearbox and the gate opening that are on the drill. Based on what you find, depending on the species or blend you're planting, you'll see those on the left side as well as the gate number. Up on top is going to be the setting for the gearbox. Find that species or blend that you plan to plant, see what number the gearbox is set for and the gate opening, and that's where you're going to begin your calibration. You'll notice you'll see single species and blends listed on that seeding chart. Blends plant just fine out of this drill. You don't need a separate small seed box for small blends, large seed, small seed. It can all be mixed together as your blend and planted in this drill. Single species can also be planted out here. If you're doing a custom blend or you're planting something that's not on this chart, what I recommend doing is start by looking at that seeding chart with the largest seed size in your blend. So if you have a blend and it's maybe has sunflowers in there, that big seed, start with the sunflower calibration setting and then tweak from there. That'll provide a good starting place for calibration. What's really important with larger seed is you make sure that gate opening is large enough that that seed is not cracking. It's not being damaged as it runs through the drill. So start with that large seed, make sure it's coming out whole, undamaged, and you're off to the races. This is one of the features that makes calibrating the drill so easy is this seed tray. You want to make sure when you're calibrating, you have it flipped so the seed will fall in and be caught in the tray. When you're planting, it will be like this, and that seed's going to fall into these cups and down through and fall into the ground. So you want to make sure this is flipped back the other way, ready for planting when you're done calibrating. Otherwise, you're just going to be catching a lot of seed in the tray when you start rolling. So we're planting the green cover summer release, and when I looked at the seeding chart, we've got a gate opening of 2. So I'm going to start there. This is the gate. You can turn this knob and it will slide just like that. There's a little notch right here. Numbers, you just line that up. Right about there's 2. Tighten that down nice and tight. That's our gate setting. Now we're going to go to the variable gearbox. All right, this is the gearbox. Super easy, 0 through 11. This will slide back and forth. You can see there's a pin right in there. You line that up with the number based on that seeding chart. That's going to be your gearbox setting. Now this was set all the way up to 6.5 for our fall crop. So I'm going to back it down. I'm going to start knowing that I'm going to be heavier. The chart says about 3. I'm probably going to bump that up to 4.5, knowing we're planting at a heavier rate. So I'm going to back this down to 4.5. Just need to loosen the knobs up top here. You don't want to loosen them all the way and pull them off. Once they're loose, this front knob, you start turning that, that's going to start moving that needle in there. So we're going to back that all the way down. We're going to, let's just say, start at 4.5, see where we're at. Once you're there, just tighten these knobs back up, hand tight, and now you're ready. All right, the gate and the gearbox have been set. Now it's time to put seed in. If you put seed in first, when you adjust that gate, you're gonna have seed come down. If that happens, you're gonna have to pull that tray out, put that seed back in. You wanna start with a clean seed tray. Any extra seed in there is gonna mess up how much weight is there, and that's gonna result in a faulty calibration. So you don't wanna get psyched out, think you have enough seed and you're actually light. Make sure that seed tray is clean. Go ahead and open everything up first. Then, once it's set, then put your seed in. All right, here's a little tip for you. Calibrate when you get your seed. You may not be planting yet, it may be several weeks out, but go ahead and calibrate so everything's ready for when the rain comes and the conditions are right, you can roll. You don't have to spend some time calibrating the drill before you can start planting. But remember, these seeds are living organisms. They're alive. I don't need that entire bag for calibration. I just need a little bit. And I leave that bag in the drill. Well, it's going to get hot. Those seeds could die, going to have a lower germination rate, going to waste a little seed. So for calibration, just dribble just a little seed in each little section, just enough for calibration. Then when you're done, we'll make sure it's totally empty, no seed is left in the drill. Put it back in this bag, seal it up with some duct tape or something. That way, you keep all the seed, and then you don't have to empty the entire hopper with a whole bag of seed. You just have a little in each section. One thing to keep in mind is maybe you have a buddy helping you, or as you do this next step we're getting ready to go into, pausing, coming back and looking in here, making sure none of these units are empty or go dry as you're turning the wheel here in a minute. And we're going to show you that, but just something to keep in mind. Try to have as little in here as you can, but don't let it go empty once we start pushing seed through. So this looks good. I think we're going to be all right. Let's hop over here. We're going to start spinning a wheel. All right, this is the drive wheel. So when the drill is down, this wheel is running along the ground. And as this is hitting the ground, it's being pulled. That's actually what's turning inside the machine, everything going around that's going to be dropping the seed. When you're planting, it's important that this is on the ground and touching. So for calibration, because as you're planting, this is turning, you need to turn this wheel to drop seed out for your weight. Now PH Outdoors has already done all the hard math based on the size of the wheel, how long the drill is, the area of acres that, you know, a select unit is actually planting. There's a lot of math that goes into that. But all you need to know is that you're going to spin this drive wheel 26 times counterclockwise. And as that's happening, seeds dropping out into the seed tray. As that seed's dropped out, once we hit 26, then we just weigh that seed. I find that usually I'm not very good. I may have to do this 1 or 2 times, so I like a little cushioned seat. I'll start spinning. Let's see where we're at. There's a hole here for a reference. I know that's going to end right there, so counterclockwise, I want to do that. It's 1.
Growing Deer is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Also by Green Cover Food Plots, Winchester, PH Outdoors, Moultrie, Steel, Fleet Outdoor Apparel, Morel Targets, Fourth Arrow, Soil Pro Outdoors, Scorpion Venom Archery, Case IH Tractors, Burris Optics, and Redneck Hunting Gloves.
26. All right, now let's go weigh the seed. I've got a 5-gallon bucket that I'll just use to help collect the seed. Pull out the seed tray, dump the seed in here, and we'll weigh it out. Now it's time to weigh. It's really important, the small container I'm using to weigh, go ahead and put it on and then zero it out. You don't know how many times I've forgotten to do that, and that will mess up the weight of your seed. So once it's 0, dump your seed in. See where we're at. 1 pound 4 ounces. So let's plug that into our calculator there on PH's website. So seed weight in pounds, or I could do ounces. Let's do ounces. So 16 is 1 pound plus 4, we'll do 20 ounces. G8 series model, calculate. We're at 62.5 pounds per acre. That's right where we wanted to be. We wanted to be about that 64, 65 pounds per acre on this blend. With our shake factor, we're just a little under. We're right there. I'm calling it good. Folks, it's that simple. Get your gearbox and your gate open just right. Turn that wheel, collect the seed, weigh it out. If you are a little heavy or a little light, all you need to do is go back to your gearbox, go up or down depending on what you need. Spin that wheel again 26 times, reweigh the seed. And once you get there, you're done. I mentioned you can plug that seed weight right into that calibration calculator. You can also just plug it into the formula here on the screen. Depending on the size of your drill, there's going to be a multiplier factor. You're going to plug that in with the weight of the seed, and that's going to give you your pounds per acre. Both systems work perfectly to ensure that you're calibrated and ready to plant. A calibrated no-till drill is going to ensure you have a great food plot this season. I hope you slow down this week, listen to the Creator, and listen to the seeds that are being dropped within your life. Push those bad seeds away so they don't have a heavy yield in your life. Soak up all those good seeds that people and the Creator are dropping in front of you. Take them in, start nourishing them, taking care of them, and the yield will be incredible. You'll be really impressed what your life can become when you have a bunch of good seeds growing in your life and that fruit is abundant. I hope you slow down, enjoy creation, but more importantly, listen to what the Creator is saying to you. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.